Cameron Mackintosh for this academic year, and I think sometimes people just come and do the lecture, but I wanted to sort of be present for the year with you. I wanted to give the idea of drama, who's involved, who isn't involved, storytelling, a bit of a kick up the arse, and I wanted us to do it together. So today we're going to look at some texts. You've all got your packs. So in those packs you'll have the plays that we looked at prior the first workshop, and there's 3 more. We're going to look. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Thank you. We're going to look at some more. I can see you all now. We're going to look at some different play texts that I've added today.
Great.
But it's not for actors. It's for people who are interested in just coming and being part of storytelling. We will do actually things. It's not about nobody's getting ticked or booed on their performance. Okay, and that's not what this is for. This is for us all to be together and have a bit of a play. The filming. Who knows Spike Lee? Okay, good. I have the most beautiful driver who drives me on Bridgerton, a young guy in mid-30s, Jamaican heritage, and he'd never heard of Spike Lee. And I'm just like, the biggest black film director to come out of America, a whole new film style, camera angles, a huge body of work, didn't know him. So if he was going to become a filmmaker, maybe he'd feel like he's got to go back to, but no. You know, the first all-black cast in a film was 1905. Then we're getting excited about Black Panther, or we're getting excited about Woman King. Like, this wasn't happening over 100 years ago. So, you know, we just have to know this stuff. We have to archive this stuff. We have to repeat this stuff so that we can make new stuff. Okay? That's why I want to film today. Okay? But the first thing I want to do is wake our brains up. So we're going to do a thing for naming. A name thing. So we're going to do, hang on, let me work it out. What's your name? My name's Adjoa. Welcome, Adjoa. Welcome, Adjoa. What's your name? My name's welcome. Welcome. But what we'll do is we'll go, what's your name? My name's Adjoa. Welcome, Adjoa. Welcome, Adjoa. What's your name? My name's George. Welcome, George. Welcome, Adjoa. Welcome, George. What's my name? My name's Bill. Welcome, Bill. Welcome, George. Welcome. Okay? Let's just see how long we can keep it going. Cool? So it's going to go ba ba ba. What's your name? Adjoa. Angela. That's the other thing, you know. When do you feel it? I have had so many times when people mispronounce my name, and you're too embarrassed to go. Actually, it's because you're like, don't look first. But it's like, it's my name. Come on. And we all have permission to get it wrong because the intent is to get it right. Anyone who, and then everyone has to move to a different position. You're not allowed to go to the next position, so Will and James couldn't swap places. You have to move somewhere else in the circle. Anyone who has been to the theatre in the last 3 months. The thing is, all of us are from all different circumstances, countries, backgrounds, perspectives, disciplines, whatever. But when you do anyone who, all sorts of different people share something. So I'm really interested in, I know the hip word is intersectionality. I just call it being a human being, because we all intersect in different ways, right? We could do intersectionality based on class, on income, on race, on sexuality, different ability, blah, 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 food intolerances, voting patterns, you name it. Or we could just say anyone who can name 2 species of trees, right? It's interesting. I mean, your anyone who's are interesting. They talk about who you are and what you're interested in, but they also talk about the connections between us, the different connections between us. And for me, all the work that I want to do for the rest of my life is about saying we are flipping interesting, and we are all interesting, and all the interestingness is of equal value. Okay? And your stories and your histories and your journeys and your backgrounds and your dreams and your hopes and your fears and your desires are interesting and worthy. Everybody is welcome, and everybody is interesting, and I want us all to feel equally justified in being present here. This exercise is about the filling in of the gaps, I guess. So it's called the status game. Take a card. So ace is lowest status, 10 is highest status. Now we're going to just perambulate around the space, and I want you to walk around in the status of the number you have. Okay? How you feel about the world, what your advantages are, what your disadvantages are, whether you have to box clever, whether you can just be casual about everything, whether you're calculating your bus fare or you're going, I'll just go first class, thanks. Think about all of that stuff. Think about what that does to your body, to your face, to where you look in the world, all those sorts of things. We are reading each other by the energy we put out. You know, we're all modulating at different times, aren't we? Just the way that we would do, you know, people call it code switching. I just say I use a different accent when I'm at home. You know, but we all do that. We have our ways of being in different company, and we switch that. We can be a multiple person depending on what the circumstances are, and then we have our own internal response to those circumstances, and then a third thing comes out. Sleep is your word. Whatever sleep means in any context, however you want to write, something from your own reflection on your life. So it's not a fiction, it's a fact for you.
Every day begins with a white tablet to wake up and ends with a white tablet to fall asleep. The first one, caffeine, tricks my brain into thinking I'm awake, and the second, melatonin, tricks it into thinking I'm sleepy. But both are tricks, and they feel like tricks. I can't remember the last time I awoke truly ready, mind and body, to embrace the fullness of day. Let that day come soon, surely. Please.
Amen.
Oh. Sleep. The thing I haven't seen on my mother's face. It lets me know that rest and peace have been sacrificed in the name of a love I promise I did not ask for. Sleep. Those moments of pause when I know that somewhere in the world, the AMs, immigrant mothers, we stay awake.
Wow. Sleep is a difficult endeavor. My hardest job, my worst obligation. Much like love, the struggle for it is tiresome. The failures wreck me, the successes complete me. Most of the time, I don't want it. As bedtime looms closer, I shudder away from it. Wriggling, jittering, backed into a corner. The eyes of my clocks are like a countdown to some magicking hour where the boogeyman arrives. Instead of running from him, I'm trapped in my bed, unable to move, running from my own thoughts.
Thank you.
The car would stop. They unbuckled their seatbelts, exchanged a few words. Quick. Eyes closed, body soft, louder breath. Oh well, look, who's asleep again? I don't recall ever being asleep. I just loved being picked up and carried in my mother's arms all the way into my bed. I also thought I must be an amazing actress to fool them every time. One day, unfortunately, come on, Emma, we're home, let's go, come on. They don't lift you anymore. They wake you. You're too heavy, too old.
Now look, how marvellous was that? Isn't it interesting? The same word, the same notion, but we all bring our lives, our ways of expressing, our experiences, our joys, our hostilities, our fears, our antagonisms to that one word. So what I wanted to do is I want to put a smorgasbord of things that we have covered in my time here together. And on the 28th we'll start to tidy that up, and then on the 4th we'll have a sharing. So I want you to look at the play. It's called Breath Boom. It's right in the centre of your document. It's about fireworks. So breath.
I gotta leave my guests. Where you going?
She says.
Stuff I gotta do, and I know she's throwing a fit. Money, she put out that damn party. I know where you're going. I know where you're going, hussy.
An actor or any person who is facilitating the telling of story, you need to investigate the text. Just like in any academic discipline, you need to investigate the material in front of you to come to conclusions, to work out where you are, where you need to go, and what's come before. Death catches the hunter. Let's just have a little read, and we're going to do the same thing. Evening. Darkness on stage, Act 2. As in Act 1, we hear the strange from Thou Swell. We are in another room in the vicarage. As the lights come on, we see a gigantic piano on stage. It should require a diligent eye to realise that there is a man seated at this formidable object. Peter is a short, impish fellow with a deceptively slight figure, almost lethargic even. Not to be fooled, he possesses the energy of a town crier and the self-assured tenacity of a muezzin at the dawn call to prayer. He emits malice in carefully measured doses. But beneath this, he is a regular fellow, possibly likeable.
Yes, sir. That was his all-time favorite tune of all.
Very particular. And I tell you, sometimes it has occurred to me that it might actually be easier for a camel to go through the eye of the needle than for it to catch Prophet Emefa's eye of approval.
Up top.
No, excuse me, please. That was meant to be off the record, actually. And
But then even our Lord Jesus Christ was known to have a temper. Beating up all of those people in the temple and all that business.
I mean, gambling or no gambling, they were only after their daily bread. With all due respect, that one now consecrated February.
However embarrassed you may feel about doing the accent, however you may feel, oh God, I'm insulting someone with my appalling go at it, once you just give yourself permission, there's no judgment in here, give yourself permission because it's much more interesting the minute you put the accents on it. Because you're honouring the intention of the playwright. Because what he hears in his head, what B hears, he's Nigerian, what he hears in his head is someone who talks like that. So you're right with that, the intentionality in the words. Do you see what I mean? Like it's not somebody who talks like that, or somebody who talks like that. It's someone who talks like that. And so the energy is different. So you disempower the intention of the playwright, you disempower the character when you go, oh, I'm just terribly embarrassed because I just don't want to insult anyone with my terrible group. Never mind insulting anyone, honour the playwright. Okay? Because we've already said in this forum, that's what we're going to do. Because it gives the juice back.
I mean, he was a common mechanic, but as he said, he had quite high status in his environment. Then he's going to a higher status environment in which his status is actually low.
Good.
I sort of get another bit of spice from Petru. There's an earthiness to him that's almost a covert narcissist. That actually, under the right circumstances, he would have wanted to have been with Star.
Bravo.
Is that
Yes.
coming through?
Yes. He's a prophet monkey, we could say. Okay, now for something completely different. So we're going to have a look at Zafar in the key word. Zafar has fled Lahore because he's gay and his father's found out. And as we discover in the play, his father had the young man he was in love with beaten to death and now has come for his son. So he's had to escape. He's in a detention centre in Hounslow.
Can't control my memories, where the reality of uncertain, filthy accommodation I made public suddenly.
Can almost feel like nothing ever happened.
Yes.
Yeah, I feel like he's constantly wearing a mask. I mean, first of all, he's rejected and he's having to pretend to be his brother, and then on the plane having to pretend to love a woman when he actually loves a man. So he's constantly hiding who he really is and can't really live his own truth and his real reality.
So he's carrying that, as well as the horror of his dead beloved, as well as the rejection of his family, as well as the terror of am I going to be killed if I don't look convincingly enough like my brother with the 3 months that's still left on the passport. Will they allow me to travel on 3 months? There's, or is that am I flying into the absolute unknown? So there is that thing of the formality and the terror. The 10 and the ace going on at the same time. And I love the fact that your perspectives are slightly different, because what that tells us is, we all bring our own way of analysing, receiving, responding to a piece of work from our own unique place. And that's what's fantastically thrilling about drama. But we all do it in communion with each other.
Again, my name's Kayana. I'll be here all day. If anything comes up, please come and find me. Without further ado, Simon Trinder, take it away. Thank you.
Naturally, not everybody here is an actor. There's going to be a few people here who are into that kind of thing, well up for that, and that's going to be great. If you're not into that kind of thing, you are most welcome. It's not about acting, but we're going to use acting to practically engage with what's on the page. That's the whole point. So do feel free. If we get you on your feet or into the space in whatever capacity you can, and you don't want to, that's fine. Not a problem at all. Please remain where you are. You can still do it along with us. Don't feel the pressure. But we are going to be treating you like actors for the day. Go with that as much as you possibly can, because the whole thing about playing Shakespeare is that it's practical. I call him the pragmatic playwright. It's all practical. There's nothing on the page that is not there to bring the thing to life. We don't pay to listen to actors recite. We pay to be moved because of what they bring, and what they bring is life. It wasn't written to be read is one of the things that helped me when I learned that at drama school. Well, because we're doing an acting class, you're going to move around space. Off you go, whatever way you want. That's it, move around, lovely. Please watch this very dangerous track on. Okay, everybody imagine that the floor is a piece of toast and you are the barman. Just keep spreading it. So wherever there's any space, lovely. Now let's pick up the pace. Pick up the pace. Change direction whenever you can. Trees! Be honest. If you are not breathing, put your hand right in the air. If you're not breathing, put your hand out. There we go. Lovely. Breath and breathing is foundational to everything we do when we're dealing with Shakespeare. Well, we're acting actually, but when we're dealing with Shakespeare. And so many of us, for fear of the language, and for fear of not being good enough, or posh enough, or whatever else it might be, we stop breathing, very literally, because we're concentrating. We're concentrating. And so what I love to remind people of dead earlier, because what happens is, if you stop breathing, everything becomes very brittle. So instead of going, let me not do the marriage of true minds, you're going to go, okay? You go. To hit all the consonants, okay? So we're going to do it in a kind of stage whisper. So we're going to go, let me not do the marriage of true minds. And
witty impediments. Love is not love.
Good. Stop. Vowels contain the emotion, consonants contain the power. And we've got to kick off those consonants in order to make it clear for the audience. And Shakespeare writes his character's personality onto the page, fascinatingly.
Now remember what Simon said about attention. So this is the deal. You want to know what the deal is? I'm going for the deal. What are we doing about the deal? What do you say you want? Okay.
As I told you, Antonio shall be bound.
Antonio shall come bound. Well,
may you stand me? Will you pleasure me? Shall I have your answer?
3,000 ducats for 3 months, and Antonio bound.
Your answer to that?
Antonio is a good man.
Have you heard any implication to the contrary?
It changes the nuance of the dynamics a little. I mean, Shylock is the one with the power to deliberate and weigh things up, but it's interesting comparing to what you said, like the snake watching rabbit, because now it's slightly the other way around.
3,000 ducats, well, I serve for 3 months. For 3 months, well, for which, as I told you, Antonio shall come out. Antonio shall come out, well, may you set me, will you question me, shall I know your answer?
Samantha, will you just introduce yourself and say who you are and what you do? And then I'll ask.
My name is Dr. Samantha again. Up until last autumn, I was the Lord Crewe Junior Research Fellow in Music at Lincoln College, and then I resigned, which sounds way more dramatic than it actually is. I left on very good terms. I'm now a research fellow at the University of Southampton. I'm a musicologist, a music historian. My passion is in the area of black women in classical music, because, well, I'm a black woman in classical music, but also it's a historiographically neglected area. But I also play the piano, and so I started playing this repertoire that I was researching because it was a way to share that with people. As you know, academia takes a really long time, whereas a performance you can set up anywhere and play for anyone. And people actually really wanted to hear this music.
What have been the significant moments for you since you've been a member of the House of Lords? For you? Becoming the first black woman in a British cabinet. That's pretty amazing. It's amazing. We'll just pause there. The first black woman in a British cabinet. Yes. And for the women in the room, one piece of learning from that, which a colleague gave me. So, as we were going into the cabinet room, he said, "You're going to have to say something. You have to speak." But he said to me, if you didn't speak at your first cabinet meeting because you felt you didn't have something to add, and then in the second meeting you felt you didn't have something to add, then you will not have heard your voice in that space. And then you kind of stop yourself speaking over time. It was such good advice. And even if what you do is repeat what somebody else has said in a slightly different way, that thing about hearing your own voice in a space where you didn't expect to be is so, so important. So, this is my penultimate time with you. I'm very sad. I've had a lovely year, and I hope they've given you a sense of being together and connected and important and seen and beloved, because you are by me. So thank you for coming. And I want to reflect some of that sense in what we do together today in preparation for what we show in June. So we'll start with breathing. So close your eyes. Listen to the feel of your body. do I mean by that? Feel your feet against the floor. How is your spine sitting over your feet? How straight is it? How relaxed are your shoulders? How is the weight of your head sitting on top of your spine? How is the blood moving through your arms and down to your fingertips? How is your stomach? Tension in your lower back. How is the sneezing? How are those light particles dancing in front of your closed eyelids? We are here all together. We are individuals in communion. That's how we'll start our performance. How lovely. The collective voice. Thank you. So what everybody's experienced in this moment is unique. It's unique to this moment, on this morning, in this space, this bunch of souls, in this building. It's about being present. Performance, for me, is about being present. Storytelling is about saying, I see you, I hear you, I acknowledge your presence, you exist, you think, you dream, you fear, you desire, you regret, you hope. So in this moment, in this collective, I want you to be present in your thinking, present to what's around you, the sunlight on the trees, the wind through the trees, the creak of a chair, the person sitting next to you, your body in these comfortable-ish seats.
Here I am, here. This place I've been thinking of, dreaming of, fantasizing about for years. Years. Not strictly St. Cat's, no. Not strictly this room, not strictly these people, but this town, this university, and this gorgeous sunny day, doing something I would never do on a random Sunday in my ordinary life. Here, in the town of the famous dreaming spies, this place I thought I would never be. This version of myself I never thought I could have. Here I am. Not just physically, I guess, but spiritually, administratively, financially as an international student. I'm way over kindergarten. I turned 30 in 10 days. That's also where I am. Here, at the end of my third decade, the first of my adulthood, nervous and excited and scared about what might happen next. Looking back at my 20s, a tumultuous, interesting, and not always happy time, but full of adventure nonetheless. But at the end of it, I'm here.
Something about here feels powerful. Here more in a temporal sense than spatially. It may have to do with something external, like the season change, finally, or the collective joy and energy that comes with that. Or it may be a little closer, something internal, like a deep connection with truth and purpose and self, in the most authentic way, in a way that can't be corrupted, in a way that feels like freedom. This is who I have been here, and that is powerful.
Thoughts rushing, anxieties, fear, excitement, peace. Here I sit and think of the space that I occupy, the experiences to be gained and the skills to behold. As I look at the green tiles, they remind me of the evergreen trees at home, the summer that is constant and the positive mood that it encourages. I feel happy, thankful, grateful. I wonder what the birds worry about. They never rush to be on time or get put off by the rain or change in the seasons. They exist and remain present. Here, never thinking about their life's work or the value they should deliver. They are present.
Thank you.
that it might actually be easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for it to catch Prophet and Mepha's eye of approval.
Brother Peteri, he said to me, why after all these years of making your acquaintance have I not been able to convince myself that your intellect is only as tall as your stature?
But then even our Lord Jesus Christ was known to have a temper. Beating up all these people in the temple and all business.
Put that in italics. Brother Peter says, I am not complaining. I mean, 15 years I was with him. 15 years I worked for him.
This isn't revolution, sir. It is a bill, a proposal of law.
Being pushed through by a marauding, lawless mass.
Do you want a cup of tea?
Not for me.
Where's the sugar from, Henry?
Don't know.
It's politics, boy, and it's not our bag. If people wanted to know what actors thought, then we wouldn't be given a script.
Comet enters, angry. She stares at them, particularly at Cree. They stare at her.
What?
She waits for them to answer. They don't.
Attitude? Don't even give me that shit. I told you, this is my birthday. I'd appreciate the night off, please. Told you tonight, my 18th big party. Ring, shit, get the phone. I gotta leave my guests. Where are you going? She says. Stuff I gotta do.
By the way, you know my wife, don't you? You've seen her here. You simply couldn't help seeing her on wager. She jumps to the eyes, as I think the French say. Well, as I was saying, if I had not been acute enough to make a bargain with my wife, my life would have been perfectly miserable. You see, she says that she heard in England that cigar ashes were good for carpets. So she allows me to wear pajamas and slippers in the house when she has no visitors, on condition that I smoke cigars and spread the ashes.
Oh my god, are these for me?
I don't know. These flowers are for my beautiful Barika Taino Mamacita Puppy Long Time Princess fucking Beauty Queen. Are you my beautiful Barika Taino Mamacita Puppy Long Time Princess fucking Beauty Queen?
Yes, Mr. Brand. I am your big, beautiful, whatever the fuck you just said, Princess.
Can't control my memories. The good ones, the bad ones, the ones they don't believe. The noise in my head is constant, it's louder at night.
lie down on the single bed in my box of a room. Pills are kicking in. I took more than I was supposed to, but they don't repeat. I'm back at Lahore airport, walking towards the desk. Constant announcements on the tannoy, putting me on edge, strip lighting making my head pound, hand over the passport, my brother's passport to the woman behind the desk. Kind of looking, but his features are round, his nose more pronounced, his face still intact.
I cannot tell you what a privilege and a joy it has been to be your Cameron Mackintosh Chair of Contemporary Drama at Oxford University this year, 2022 to 23, ably guided by the hands of St. Cat's. So I want to start by thanking Cameron Mackintosh and his team. I want to thank St. Cat's, Kirsty, Laura, Becca, Kayana, Dorothy, and everybody else who has given their time and energy to bearing with me as I've said, let's do this and let's do that. We wanted to talk about stories this year, swinging the lens on different stories. And so my final thanks has to go to all those students and participants from the wider Oxford area who came and joined us in exploring what stories are, what stories mean, and how we communicate them, and what their value is to us. Because we all know we navigate our lives through stories. We value ourselves and we value others through the stories we learn and the stories we've been told. So this has been an opportunity for us to explore the telling and the learning of those stories together. You will also see extracts from plays that we have looked at together, plays that are perhaps not in the English-speaking canon of plays, but perhaps should be. I hope you'll enjoy that. I want to say, students, put your back into it this afternoon. This is not about impressing anybody who's watching. This is about celebrating yourselves as individuals and celebrating yourselves as the lovely family collective that we have come to be together. I cannot tell you what a joy it has been for me to be with you this year, for your grace and your generosity and your presentness in all that we've done together. At the end there will be a little smorgasbord of our year, a sizzle reel as we call it in the trade, which Joe Johnson has been lovingly filming from session to session throughout the year. So that'll be there for you to have a little look at yourselves through the year, and we will put together a larger version of that to give to St. Cat's, to be there for future Cameron Mac chairs, one of whom I'm thrilled to know is going to be Gregory Doran. Greg was my first director at the RSC in 1989, I think, and for the last decade he has brilliantly been at the helm at the Royal Shakespeare Company, where I was delighted to become an associate artist under his stewardship. You will have the most fabulous time with Greg. He is not only a wonderful human being, he's a wonderful director. What he doesn't know about Shakespeare, probably Shakespeare didn't know. And he will have fun and you will learn enormous things with him. So I wish you and he well in the year to come. All right, that's enough. I've been banging on. I love you. God bless you. Have a sense of all those stories that are within you. see yourselves, know yourself. You are wonderful, and I've had the most wonderful time with you. Have a great afternoon.